Hi, and welcome back to the Law Simplified. Now, we had a look at two main elements. Number 5 being planning for your studies, and number 4 being reading around the subject. Now, number 3, practice, practice, and practice. You'll hear a lot of your lecturers and your academic mentors tell you that the LLB or the law exam is not a rote learning examination or a subject for that matter, and that is quite true. It's not. It's something that will build your analytical abilities and your thinking patterns. But at the end of the day, you will be studying for one whole year and sitting for a 3-hour examination. If that particular 3-hour examination, specifically if you're in your first year, is the first time you're actually writing an answer script, chances are it's going to be a failure, and I'm sorry to say that. You need to practice and prepare for your examinations, and to do that, you need to build what I like to call muscle memory. And what muscle memory is basically how many answers that you write before your actual examinations. And the way to do this is to actually write sample examination scripts. For instance, when I sat for my second and final year tort law examinations, I actually wrote 40 sample answer scripts before actually sitting for the examination, which meant that before I sat for my official exams in May, I had literally written 10 tort law exams. Now, for the University of London program, it is 4 answers that you need to write from the questions that you have been provided. So once you have prepared sufficiently with your content and once you have read around the subject and enriched your knowledge, when you sit for your examination, you will be confident that you will be able to understand and also tackle the question with the proper timing in place, something we will touch on a bit later on. So, why exactly do you need to write answer scripts besides this notion? Well, basically, it's also to boost confidence. What I found most helpful was once I completed my studies and maybe a week or so before my examinations, seeing a stack of answer scripts that I had written for each individual subject on the side of my table was in fact a confidence booster. Knowing for a fact that you have written all of these answers prior to actually sitting for this 3-hour paper will boost your confidence, energize you, and make you feel that you have understood and covered the topics necessary. On top of that, I would also highly recommend that you create mind maps or spider graphs, as I like to call them. Spider graphs are a great way to have a bird's eye overview of each individual topic in a particular subject. So once you have a particular spider graph, for example, let's take contract law. In contract law agreement, you will be able to see all of the areas that you will have to touch on when you answer a question. This way, if you are a picture reader, for instance, you will have this mind map or the spider graph in your head when you go and sit for your examination. And once you see a particular question, you will see an answer pattern emerging yourself. Number 2, have an opinion or a point. There have been many occasions when students worldwide have asked me whether they need to write every single thing that they have studied. And that's a valid question coming into a law degree. Because unlike many other degrees or many other areas, for instance, what law really requires, what an examination or an examiner wants from a student is to analyze, be analytical, and apply the law. So the answer to that question is no, you are not supposed to write every single thing that you've studied. And that is justified that you think of it that way as well. You study for a whole year and sit for a 3-hour paper. Chances are you feel the examiner wants to see your knowledge, how much do you know. But in reality, that is not the case. What you really need to do when you sit for an examination is rather than narrating everything that you've understood, you need to make sure that you apply the law. What most students fail to realize is that right or wrong, examiners want to see conviction in your answer. If you are able to justify the response that you have made, if you are able to rationalize your answer, your examiner will reward you for it. Make sure that the case law and the supplementary information that you've included actually helps you prove your point. Now that we've gone through 2 more points, being practicing your answers as well as having an opinion and point, in the next session, we will have a look at the most important thing that you need to know when you're preparing for your examinations and the most important thing that you need to do in order to ace a law exam. We'll be right back.